Hello again, and welcome to the third in this series of tutorials which are designed to help you during lockdown. This week we're going to focus on emotional well-being. So what is well-being then? It certainly doesn't mean being deliriously happy all the time, and that's a good job given everything that's going on in the world at the moment, which leads to people perhaps feeling a bit less happy than normal. Well-being is contentment, satisfaction, a feeling that life is okay. So you can have good mental well-being, but of course still experience periods of sadness, frustration, anger, all of those feelings. The aim of this tutorial is to give you a bit of information about mental well-being and also just to give you a few practical tips. Starting with some basics then, there are some things that we know are good for us, but we might think of them as being good for us physically without really realising how much of an impact on our mental health they have. So exercise is one of those things that has tremendous mental health benefits as well as physical health benefits, and the reason for that is the chemicals that get released and produced during exercise, and those chemicals boost your mood and can relieve anxiety and depression. Of course, the variety of exercise that's open to you during lockdown is much narrower than it normally is. You can't participate in sports at college, you can't do your additional studies. So it is a matter of thinking about what can you do in the circumstances that you've got. So you could either look at the exercise videos on YouTube. Lots of them have sprung up recently that show you how to get fit or stay fit without having any particular equipment at home. Or you could get outside and do some running or walking. Now, walking, I suppose traditionally is seen as a bit of an old person thing, but there are many benefits to walking. It's really nice to get outside, to get out of the house, to get some fresh air and some daylight, and depending where you live, to be able to see a bit of green maybe, which again is supposed to be really, really good for your mental health. You can also do things while you're walking, such as practicing mindfulness, and we'll say a little bit more about that later on. The next basic thing you need is sleep, a good amount of sleep. So the average adult needs 7 or 8 hours, and people your age often need a bit more than that. If you don't get enough sleep, that's linked to physical problems, a weakened immune system, but also mental health problems. So a good amount of sleep can really help with things like anxiety and depression. That's easier said than done, of course. You can decide to go and do some exercise. You can't decide, I will sleep now. But all of these things on this slide are tips for getting better sleep. Keeping a regular regime is really, really useful, and that means that even if you've had trouble getting to sleep, still getting up at the same time, because if you stay in bed late, having gone to sleep late, you just perpetuate those issues often. Various things to avoid: screens, caffeine, alcohol. Get your room quiet and dark, bright daylight in the morning, so go and take that walk or that run. That will also help you to sleep at night. Exercise is good, but if you do it just before you go to bed, that's too stimulating. Same goes for eating and taking a bath or shower. Don't do it just before you go to bed. This last bit about your phone, if you can, do banish your phone from your bedroom. This is about sleep, but it's also the fact that social media use in excess of 4 hours is strongly associated with mental health difficulties. There's been some research recently that's shown that the way in which you use social media determines whether it's bad for you or not. So if you passively scroll through, that's worse for your mental health than actively engaging, liking, posting. But it's been found that if you spend more than 4 hours a day on social media, it's bad for you whether or not you're using it actively or passively. Food can also have an impact on your mental health. So highly processed foods that we all know are not very good for us, are not very good for our mental health, as well as being not very good for our physical health. The preferred diet then for promoting good mental health is the Mediterranean style diet. So lots of veg, lots of fruits, nuts, beans, cereals, fish and fish oil. And those things have actually been shown to reduce depression. Okay, having covered some of those basics, we're now going to look very briefly at 2 strategies specifically to encourage good mental well-being. And the first of those is mindfulness. You've probably come across the term mindfulness. It is everywhere at the moment, and that's because so many people have found it so useful. So what is it? It's learning how to be fully present and engaged in the moment. So it is being in the present and very, very much aware of your thoughts and feelings and aware of your physical surroundings. So there's lots of stuff out there about mindfulness, lots of resources. So there are apps to download. You can find guided meditation videos that use mindfulness techniques. There's lots out there. But on the next slide, we just give you a really simple exercise to get you started. So do give it a go. Why don't you try it right now? Get into a comfortable position, and I'll just give you a couple of minutes to go through the exercise. A second strategy to encourage good mental well-being is gratitude, feeling grateful. So it's about acknowledging, maybe even writing down things that we are grateful for. So it could be gratitude to another person, it could just be gratitude that something exists or something has happened. It can be a very, very wide range of things, but it's about focusing on things that you are grateful for. So one way of doing this would be to try writing down 3 things that went well for you over the past week and how you feel about them. So small things like getting a compliment or finding a new show to watch or getting a good mark for a piece of work. Or It could be something that you do daily. Think of 3 things that you've appreciated. And if you don't like the idea of gratitude, maybe appreciation is a better term. So anything you might have appreciated, a nice hot shower that you enjoyed, or a joke that you heard, could really be anything. That was a quick 10-minute introduction to what's really a huge topic, and we will come back to it. So in subsequent weeks we will explore more coping strategies and also particular difficulties. In the meantime, as ever, we keep repeating this message: if you're struggling, please ask for help. Do speak to someone at home, speak to your personal tutor, speak to your senior tutor, or email the Welfare Hub, and somebody will try and help you.